Hey, I'm Chris Ralph, the professional prospector, and today we're going to be talking about platinum. Hey, I wanted to show you this thing. It's really cool. Check out this giant platinum nugget that I found. It's amazing. It weighs a couple of pounds and it's probably worth more than $100,000. Not. This is a chunk of aluminum. And this is the kind of thing that fools most people. I don't know what this originally was, but it was something made out of aluminum. It's too big to have been like a beer can or a soda can. But it got tossed in a campfire and the aluminum melted, because aluminum doesn't melt at that high a temperature. And it made this kind of blobby shape, which kind of looks like a nugget. I didn't think it was platinum when I found it. I thought it was aluminum, because you can't see in a picture, like a video, but I can tell by hefting this, it's really light. This is pretty light metal. Aluminum is light metal. Platinum, super heavy. So let's talk about platinum. Hey, I get a lot of questions of people wanting to ID stuff that they think may be platinum. But it's not easy to do that. Like I say, I can't tell the density from a picture. And you know, I did a video a while back on gold, and I talked about gold and how to identify it and how to test and see if you really have gold or not. Well, I said at the beginning of the video, yeah, I'm going to cover platinum too. And by the time I got to the end of that video, it was so long that I was like, no, I can't cover platinum in the same video. It'd be like an hour-long video. So we're going to do platinum now in a separate video. And so let's talk about platinum. The first thing I want to talk about is how very rare it is. It literally is something that's way rarer than gold. I mean, gold nuggets and platinum nuggets do exist, but there's probably 1,000 or 10,000 gold nuggets for every one platinum nugget. That's how rare they are. And gold nuggets aren't exactly common. It's not like I walk out in the field to go prospecting for gold and just pick up, oh, there's a couple dozen nuggets over here. You know, gold is rare, plenty rare in its own right. Platinum nuggets are far rarer. And we're going to talk about why that's the case. I have a great story. A couple of years back, you know, I have a book, and I'll talk more about the book at the end of my video here, but I have a book. I've been selling it for a while, and I got an email from a lady who said, hey, I hear you're going to be at a GPA gold show in the Los Angeles area. Yep, that's true. And she said, can I bring you down some stuff that I found with my metal detector, and you can look at it and tell me what you think. I said, sure, no problem. Because, you know, I don't do photo ID stuff, so if you want to send me pictures of your platinum nuggets that you think is platinum, sorry, I can't help you, because like I say, I can't see density in a picture. All right? And there's other tests and stuff and things that need to be done to ID platinum, which we're going to talk about. But anyway, she had some things she thought were platinum nuggets, and you know, she wanted to bring them to, and sure enough, when I was there for the gold show, she showed up. She had her son, her son had a friend, she had her husband with her, and they said, hey, you know, we found this stuff while we were out fiddling around with the metal detector, and we wanted you to take a look at it. I said, sure, no problem. And so she pulls out several chunks of melted aluminum that she thought was maybe platinum. And it's like, no, this is, and those pieces were small. And I said, yeah, this was a beer can or a soda can or something that went into a campfire and melted down into a blobby shape and then got tossed around in the waves and rolled around. And the outward form of it looked nugget-like, but yeah, super light. They were aluminum. And so she showed me some other stuff that she'd found. She and her son, I mean, really it was her son, it was his metal detector, but she would go out with her son. Her son was like, I don't know, 12 or something like that. So it was a fun family thing, right? Hey, no problem. And anyway, she had some costume jewelry and some other stuff, none of which was particularly valuable. And way at the bottom of her bag, I could see, because it was like a clear Ziploc bag, and I said, hey, let me look at that thing. And she said, it's just another piece of junk jewelry that we found on the beach. And I said, let me look at it. Because I could see from a distance, you know, the manufacturing techniques that they use for costume jewelry are not the same as what they use for real jewelry. And so it looks different. Even, you know, from a distance, I could tell the difference. Because costume jewelry is made super cheap because it's cheap. But I could tell this wasn't made that way. So she handed it to me, and I looked at it, and I had a loop. I looked at it with my loop, and sure enough, it was a stud earring with no clasp. It had fallen off of someone's ear. And on the stem of the earring, it said 585. And I told the lady, I said, let me tell you something. 585 is the indication that they use in Europe and a lot of other places in the rest of the world to indicate 14 karat gold. In the United States, it would be stamped 14K, but in Europe, it'd be stamped 585. And it's stamped 585 because 14 karat gold is 58.5% gold. So it makes sense. And I looked at the stone, I looked at it, I said, you know, I cannot eyeball this for certain. But there's a jeweler over there, and have him take a look at this. But I'm like 90% sure the stone in this piece of jewelry is a real diamond. It was like 1/3 of a carat diamond. And sure enough, she went over to the jeweler. It was a guy I know, and he had a diamond tester, and he tested it for her. It was the real deal. And so the funny story is that all the stuff she thought was great was junk. And all the stuff she thought was junk was great. So, you know, sometimes things fool you, and knowing the difference between and knowing how to identify things is important. So platinum is super rare. Melted aluminum cans or other aluminum metal objects, pretty common. I find melted aluminum, that's not that unusual of a find. But real platinum is rare, far rarer than gold nuggets. The other thing about platinum, it's super dense. I told you that, you know, in a picture I cannot see the density of this piece of metal. But in my hand, I can certainly tell you it's light. It's not a platinum nugget worth 100 grand. It's a piece of aluminum, probably worth about 75 cents. Not the same. So gold is, both gold and platinum are dense. Platinum is actually slightly denser than gold. And gold and platinum are both way denser than lead, and you could consider lead, that's heavy, dense stuff, right? But platinum is even slightly more dense than gold, and a lot more dense than lead. Now it's silver or steel kind of colored, and actually normally the color of a platinum nugget is pretty close to the color of a mild fresh steel that's unrusted. Like if you were to cut through a piece of rebar, and that's pretty close to the color of a real platinum nugget. But telling things by color is, and I say this in my video on identifying minerals by the various characteristics of the mineral, that color is the absolute worst, least reliable thing you can use to identify a metal or a mineral or something like that. Because think about how many different metals are kind of a steely, gray, silvery kind of color. Aluminum, lead, gold and mercury amalgam, steel, stainless steel, zinc, silver, even silicon, which is it's a metallic silicon is a man-made, it's a semi-metal, but it's man-made, but I've found it wandering around at different places. Tin, solder, you know, there's all kinds of stuff that's kind of silvery steel gray, and just because you find something, and even if it's a little bit on the heavy side, that doesn't necessarily mean it's platinum. So don't get fooled by the color. Now let's talk about platinum geology, and this is an explanation of why platinum nuggets are so much more rare than gold nuggets. Gold nuggets occur because there are natural chemical geologic processes that take big amounts of rock that have tiny, tiny traces of gold, and basically it leaches out all those traces and concentrates it into a vein or some other kind of deposit. And so the reason, even though as far as rarity in the crust of the earth, platinum and gold are pretty close. They're both really rare, but they're pretty close. And but the reason that gold is so much more common as a nugget than platinum nuggets are is because there are these natural processes that will take the traces of gold in a whole bunch of rock and concentrate it into a vein or some other deposit, and will eventually lead to the formation of nuggets. Platinum, on the other hand, it's just way different. There are not those natural processes that are fairly common for gold and for silver too, that naturally concentrate them. They just don't exist for platinum. The platinum doesn't get dissolved out of the rock and reconcentrated. Most platinum deposits are basically things that have come up deep out of the earth, and because in the earth there's maybe a bit more platinum down deep in the mantle of the earth. When it comes up, you can sometimes get concentrations of platinum, metallic platinum. And sometimes these are associated with deep-seated rocks like peridotite and dunites, which are minerals that, type of rocks that reflect the mantle material coming up to the surface. So platinum, unusual. Let's take a look at some actual examples of platinum ore.
This photo shows some platinum ore from a rather large mine in the Stillwater complex of Montana. It's dark colored and is a volcanic material, a magma that cooled very slowly, and it's a lot of feldspar and other things. But you can see the light colored clots that I'm pointing to here. Those are clots of sulfides, and in these sulfides is mixed in some minerals which contain, like chalcopyrite and other things, which do contain some both platinum group metals, mostly palladium, but also some platinum as well. Here is another example of platinum ore from that same mine, and again it's clots and bits of sulfides in this ore. The ore is crushed and the sulfides separated out away from the gangue and waste minerals. One of the things I want to say about ores like this is that there are probably 10,000 gold mines for every one platinum palladium mine that exists in the United States. That's how rare these mines are. They just are crazy rare. Now, at this particular mine, the zone, basically it's almost like a vein or layer that these people are mining, goes on for tens of miles. So it is very extensive in size, but they are very, very, very rare. This is a very unusual ore specimen from Nevada. It contains a whole lot of base metals, but a small amount of platinum. And this mine did produce a tiny amount of platinum, but it's not like the big producers. And again, it's super rare. The silver-colored triangular-shaped mineral in the center of this photo is a mineral called sperrylite, and it's the only known mineral that actually contains significant quantities of platinum in its chemical formula. It's a platinum arsenide mineral. It's very rare, super rare, and there's a zillion silver-colored minerals. So just because you found a silver-colored mineral, that doesn't mean you found platinum. But anyway, it is an important ore of platinum.
Okay, so having looked at platinum ore, let's compare. We talked about silvery steel colored. Let's take a look at some things that are platinum and not platinum. And you'll see, they're similar in appearance, but they're very, very different. So let's look at platinum versus not platinum.
Here's a group of platinum nuggets that came from Russia. You can see the steel silver gray that I had mentioned that is the color of these things. But unlike aluminum or steel or a lot of other metals, these nuggets are super dense. If you were to test them for density, you'd find that they're slightly more dense than a gold nugget of the same size, and a lot more dense than steel or super more dense than aluminum. So these are real platinum nuggets. This, on the other hand, is a fired bullet that's been smashed against a rock or something. And I find things like this with my metal detector all the time. Yes, it's silver gray colored, but this is lead and certainly not platinum. And this is a really nice platinum nugget from Northern California. Nice half-ounce nugget with the beautiful steel gray. And this is the real thing. When I'm out prospecting, it's not unusual for me to find bits and blobs and pieces of melted metal. Never are they as artistic as this seems to be, but this gives you the idea. Molten metal is not that unusual, and no, this is not platinum. This is another real platinum nugget. It is small and silvery, but it's super dense. This nugget, although not very large, weighs over 9 ounces. That's just because platinum is so dense. Now, this is the real thing. So this is the big phony platinum nugget I used at the beginning of this video. That's really a piece of melted aluminum. You can kind of see that there's signs of melting on it, but it's rounded and kind of looks nuggety a little bit. Still, it's a melted aluminum and a lot more common than real platinum. This thing weighs probably less than 10 ounces of aluminum. If it were platinum, it would be over 50 ounces of platinum, and like I say, probably worth $100,000 or more. This, on the other hand, is a real platinum nugget. And, I hope that this little slideshow showing various pictures of real platinum and real platinum ore will give you a better feel for, what things look like. But, the real key for determining real platinum is not something that can be seen in a photograph. It's the density of it, and we'll talk a little bit more about that in just a second.
Now, one of the things that I tell people with, and I didn't put this on here, but really the most reliable way to know if you've found platinum or not, or platinum ore, that sort of thing, is to have an assay done. Have a test done, a chemical test. You can look up on Google and find examples of places that will do chemical assays for you, and these places will do assays for platinum. That's the most reliable way. But let's talk about some home type tests that you can do. One of the things that I keep getting people asking me about is, I put my suspected platinum into some peroxide that I bought at the store and it bubbles a lot, and so it must be platinum. Well, it's true that platinum is a catalyst to decompose hydrogen peroxide, like you could buy at the drugstore. But the thing is, platinum is a very efficient decomposer, but lots of other metals. If I were to take this aluminum nugget and stick it in a beaker full of peroxide, guess what? Bubbles would start coming off the aluminum. So platinum, yes, it's a very efficient material to decompose that peroxide, but a lot of other things will do it too. So just because you put something in, and it bubbles, that has no bearing on if it's platinum or not. I got to tell you, there's a lot of people who do stuff on the internet and they have no idea what they're talking about. And so, that's why you got Chris Ralph, the professional prospector, talking about stuff I actually know about. And so, don't listen to the internet. Assays. Now, the next test I'm going to suggest is testing with diluted nitric acid. Now, I understand nitric acid, it ain't that easy to get a hold of. I have some, but other people have some. You can get a hold of it. It's not impossibly difficult. It's just not easy. And if you take that, because usually you buy it as concentrate, and take it and put like measure out 2 volumes of water and add 1 volume. So if you had 200 milliliters of water, you would add 100 milliliters of concentrated nitric to that. And that would give you diluted nitric acid, right? Because and always add acid to water, not water to acid. Don't do that because of the heat of the mixing. Anyway, when you do that, you'll find that this dilute nitric acid will dissolve almost all the other metals that you think are platinum. So if I were to drop a chunk of melted aluminum into dilute nitric acid, it would bubble, 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 and go away. If you drop a real platinum nugget into dilute nitric acid, it will do nothing. It will just sit there. And so, and a lot of the other things that I mentioned, whether it be aluminum or lead or solder, tin, steel, stainless steel, zinc, all these things, you put them in nitric acid, they go away, they dissolve, they react with the nitric acid. What will normally happen is you'll get bubbling, and some of the bubbling will be kind of an orange colored gas. You don't want to breathe that gas, it's very bad for you. So do your testing outside, but if you get an orange colored gas coming off your test, then it's pretty much a good solid indicator that it's not platinum. All right, then the other test that's a good test is density testing. And the density testing, really all you need is a good accurate scale and water and some sort of cup or beaker to hold it in. And you'll test the density. Aluminum, super light. Zinc and lead, heavier. Pot metal, melted pot metal, which is mostly zinc. They will show a little heavier. Zinc is not as heavy as lead. Zinc is more comparable to the density of steel, that sort of thing. But if you find that you do a density test and you get a number of around 20 or more, you probably do have platinum. But most other things will be 10 or 12 or less. The aluminum is actually, just by comparison, platinum nuggets are around 20, 21, something like that for the density. Pure gold is 19.6. Aluminum is less than 3. So it shows you how much lighter aluminum is. So there's a couple of kind of tests: assay testing with dilute nitric acid, density testing. Like I say, you want to get, if it's in the range of 20, 21, there's a fair chance that it's platinum. But like I say, platinum is super rare. And if you're actually digging in an area known to have platinum, then hey, your chances are better. Chances of you discovering a new platinum deposit, probably not that great. Theoretically possible, but not necessarily a high likelihood. So that's a little bit about learning to identify, and hopefully it will help you know if you really have found platinum or something else. I've found all kinds of weird things with my metal detector over the years, from pocket watches from the 1800s to bits and pieces of car that shouldn't have been where I was. It's like, cars don't normally explode. How did car piece get over here? There's a lot of stuff that gets found: lead, melted pot, things that melt easily, form like nuggets, nugget-looking things. I was out recently. I did a video metal detecting in the forest, and when I was out there had been a fire through the area, and all the near-surface bullets melted and formed these blobby shapes that kind of looked like a silvery nugget. Probably before it melted, it looked exactly like a bullet. But after melting, it looks like some kind of nugget. And hey, it's lead, it's kind of dense. It wasn't platinum, it was just lead. So, there's a little bit of information about learning to identify platinum. And, if you want to increase your prospecting skills and get better and better at finding gold and potentially platinum, especially if you're in an area that's known to have platinum nuggets, if you're going to do that and get better, you know, I wrote a book about that, and it's called Fistful of Gold, and actually covers, there's stuff about platinum in Fistful of Gold. And if you want to increase your skills, that's the right way to go. And I'm going to tell you a little bit more about my book right now. So let me tell you a little bit more about my book. It's called Fistful of Gold, and I wrote it because I want you to be able to go out and find for yourself Fistful of Gold. And you can see that it's an encyclopedia with all kinds of information, pictures, and that sort of thing. It's not in color, but color would have cost me a lot more to have printed, and so the book would have cost a lot more. It's for sale on Amazon, and you can pick it up. I'll put a link in the description below. I also serve as the editor for a prospecting magazine. It's ICMJ's Prospecting and Mining Journal. And honestly, you should check that out. We got stories and information, legal stuff, everything you know to increase your skills as a prospector. I write articles in this every month, and a lot of other very experienced prospectors contribute to the magazine as well. So check the magazine out. Also, I have a website, and the website is at NevadaOutbackGems.com. I'll put a link for it in the description below, but there's gobs of information there that you will find useful in your prospecting efforts. Finally, I want to say that I really appreciate your comments and thoughts, and even positive criticism. Don't come on there and just toss out insults, because I'll just delete your comments. But if you've got helpful things to say and questions to ask, do write and put those in the comments, because I answer my comments to people, and you'll hear from me in responding to you. So if you've enjoyed this video and you like what you see and you're interested in finding out more, well then sign up, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so they'll let you know when I post new videos. And like it and share it if again you see stuff that you really are excited about. And I'll be coming out with lots more new videos, and so we'll see you again real soon.